Hello guys, welcome back to Custom Gamer. My name is Daz, and this is the show where we talk about level design while playing cool maps. This is part 3 of Something Wicked This Way Comes by Tyrann, Tronyn and Necros. Sorry it's been so long coming. I've been distracted this past week with other things. But here we are, going to finish off this pack today. So if you remember last episode, we just found the gold key and killed a few thousand scrags in the process. So now we're looking for the gold key door. Now if you remember in last episode, I shot a button on the top of this room. Never quite worked out what it did, and it actually raises up this plinth so you can get inside here. At least I think that's what it does. This is one of the very few amount of secrets I did find. Pentagram certainly comes in very handy here against these, well, they're not quite hit scan enemies because they do have a maximum range on the lightning, but it's very, very nasty. It does a lot of damage too. So you either want to have a lot of line of sight blockers when you use these guys, or have a large area where the player can get out of range. Once again we have the pentagram on the floor here, which respawns some armor and ammo for us. Been making good use of that. Now the signalling during the kind of final third of this map does get a little bit strange and hard to follow. For instance, when you pick up the gold key, it's not particularly obvious where the gold key door is. You're not directed to it very well, I think. It is kind of hidden away in a back passage. There's a similar kind of situation with the level exit as well. It's not particularly well broadcasted to the player as to where it is when you finally unlock it. I was a bit confused, as you'll see later on in the video. Now here I didn't quite put 2 and 2 together that something had opened up below, so I was waiting on top of there for the platform to keep on rising up. Of course that didn't happen, so we'll just cut that bit out. So nice setup here for the ambush, having the knights and spiders come in from both sides. It just feels a little bit strange that you pick up a mega health every time you hit one of these buttons on the side here, but nothing actually happens with regard to spawning in extra enemies or anything like that. So you end up with 250 health and nothing to really kind of assault you to take it down again. So again here I've just walked over those 2 giant arrows pointing down below me. You'll notice that when this door opened it told us that the towers were now accessible. And again you'll notice here you've got these giant arrows pointing into them. A common theme, as you're now probably fully aware. And again it's just so that players don't get utterly lost in this map because it's so huge. One thing I would have liked is if older arrows in the map would have been removed as you kind of carry on, because it can be quite confusing seeing just arrows absolutely everywhere. It would have been nice to have old arrows removed when you've found the areas they were pertaining to. So here we are, this is the highest point on the map, and like I mentioned in part 2, the higher you get in the map is a kind of denotation of progress. So this is kind of the final area, if you like. Now quite a lot of stuff happens here in a short space of time. So you pick up the rune, which activates these drakes that come from above here. And the aim of this final combat is to kill all the drakes, which opens the exit. Now, unfortunately, you kind of pick up a power-up at the same time as you pick up the room, and if you don't play the Drake mod very much, then you probably have no idea what this power-up does. I certainly didn't. I think it flashes some text on the screen, but you're so busy kind of avoiding just a crap ton of enemies that spawn while you pick up the rune. You never really have time to read what it says. As far as I could tell, it's a kind of projectile reflection kind of power-up, so anything that hits you gets flung back at the enemy that threw it. Just very handy for this fight here, as you've got lots of projectiles flying absolutely everywhere. But the only reason I know that is because, obviously, reviewing the footage and commentating over it, I was able to read the text. But yeah, I was very confused while fighting. It's like, okay, I've got a power-up, I have no idea what it does. I guess I'll just carry on fighting. Yeah, I can't say I'm too fond of these drakes. I think they look fairly ridiculous, to be honest. I wasn't really a fan of the fact that they all spawn above the player as well, when you've got this huge cavern that they could have spawned in. Perhaps the space isn't used as well as it could have been. Then you'll notice that once you kill the final drake, it kind of tells you that the exit is now open. But it doesn't really do a good job of explaining to you where the exit is. Of course, there's enemies just all over the place, so you can't really even follow the enemies to the exit either. I'm being quite careful here because I've only got 50 odd health and not a lot of ammo at all. Now again, I forgot to use the crossbow, the one hit kill weapon. I've got quite a bit of ammo for it, but I just keep forgetting to use it. I've chopped a bit out there because I got very lost at the end here trying to find the exit, so I just chopped to where I'm on the right track. Well, I finally remembered I had the crossbow, so I'm using it here to just one-shot everything. If you missed previous videos, the crossbow is essentially a one-hit kill weapon, but you have very, very limited ammo for it. Seems to be a strange UI bug here, it doesn't actually tell you how much ammo you have. Not quite sure what's going on there. So yeah, this is the exit here. But there's usually some sort of like exit sign or something like that in Quake maps which tell you that this is the exit. There's nothing like that here, there's just this kind of giant, I don't know if it's a ram's head or something. It looks like a Doom texture actually, but nothing to actually tell you that there's an exit there, which is a shame. There you go, 5 out of 30 secrets. 45 minutes roughly completion time. Yeah, I could have found a lot more secrets if I'd spent more time exploring, but hey, never mind, don't want to ruin everything for you guys. So now we're going to go on to the final map. Now this map's in equal parts interesting and incredibly frustrating, in that the difficulty is just completely off the scale. I actually don't manage to finish this. And it's not for lack of trying, as you'll see. There's quite a few clips here of me trying different strategies and whatnot. It's so hard, man. I'd love to see some videos of demos or something of people that have actually completed it. I have no idea how close I got. I didn't actually play through it with God mode on to find out. Maybe I'll come back to it one day and try and complete it again, but it's interesting in the fact that the final area is kind of set up a lot like a raid that you'd find in an MMO, say World of Warcraft, and that it seems to have very, very distinct phases, and there's kind of rotations that you can learn in the kind of power-up respawn times. Essentially the mega health in the centre of the arena that you'll see in a minute is what you can kind of base your strategy around. It respawns every, I don't know, maybe like 30 seconds or a minute or something. And it's basically essential to your survival, so if you can kind of time going into the centre of the arena, which is a fairly dangerous place to be, you have to kind of time that to coincide with the mega health respawn time. So it uses a lot of like deathmatching skills. Like anyone who's played kind of arena shooters knows that half the game is kind of controlling the map with regard to item respawn times. And that actually comes into effect in this final arena combat quite a lot as well. But it's also incredibly hard, as you're about to find out. It starts off fairly easy here, but once you open up this central area here, it starts getting very, very silly. Some of the things I don't like about this initial area is just some of the side passages, and especially the stairs coming up to the central area. It's just so easy to fall off and fall down into the water, and it's just incredibly frustrating after a while. So here we go, killing all these knights opens up the main arena, and this is where things get insane. So you notice I picked up the mega health as you fall down, so it respawns in the very centre of the room there. And the key seems to be to just keep on moving, at least initially. The first couple of phases just rely on basically constant movement to avoid the heavy damage being thrown at you. Now this is where things get really... This is the most frustrating part of the entire thing, these red spawns that come in. There's just so many of them, they're always around you, it's so hard to kill them without taking damage. This is the source of my death for many, many of these playthroughs. So this next attempt doesn't go too well actually. I get kind of cornered by dogs as I go in and take a lot of damage, which isn't good. So this is what I'd call phase 1, the scrags, the dogs, the fiends, and the black shamblers here. This is phase 1, and then phase 2 starts when the spawns teleport in. Now I'm not sure if it's timer based or if it's just based on when you kill the first phase enemies. If it's timer based, then it's just really important to just kill everything as fast as you can. If the second phase starts as soon as you kill everything in the first phase, then that doesn't really seem to be a problem. But yeah, spawn death once again. You can probably see there's some power-ups up on the pillars, these 4 pillars in the room. There's power-ups on top of each one. I couldn't really work out how to get on them, and I was very reluctant to use things like rocket jumping here because you just need every single ounce of armour and health you have just to survive, it feels like. So I really didn't want to use a rocket jump to get up there. One interesting thing I noticed is that those kind of dark shamblers you see running around there, they can use this kind of fire attack on you which jumps you up into the air, so I was wondering if that was meant to be the mechanic there. You kind of stay near the pillars and those shamblers will kind of lift you up and you can get up there. Never actually got it to work though. Mainly because as soon as you stop moving like that you tend to just die. So this run's going slightly better. Spawns haven't got me yet. And now you see suddenly a bunch of other enemies start teleporting in as well. It just gets really, really insane after a while. Clutch mega health though, 4 health. The plasma cannon seems to be a really good way of taking out these spawns actually, because you can kind of direct the energy beam slightly away from you as it has a fairly slow travel time. Seems to be very, very good at taking out the spawns that way. So this is phase 3, when you get the these lightning throwing guys. I'm sorry, I really can't remember the name of them right now. But this is where you can kind of slow down a bit and use the pillars as line of sight blockers so you don't get hit by the energy beams so often. Even then, you've got all this other stuff attacking you, and it's just, yeah, it just gets crazy after a while. It's almost like Russian roulette, firing a rocket behind you like that. You're never quite sure if there's a spawn right on your ass, or if you're going to have room to take out a couple of them. Seems to be a good timing you can use where a bunch of spawns will fall into that central area at the same time. You can probably take them out with one well-placed rocket. So I think here's a good example of taking out the spawns with the plasma gun. It seems to work really nicely. I think this is the furthest I ever got this run right here. Managed to take out a lot of the larger enemies that spawn in, which is good. Good timing on the mega health there, just when these guys spawn in. Although you can see most of my health is gone already because I didn't get to a pillar in time. And then the Gug sniper strikes. Yeah, very, very nasty final combat. Yeah, I'll have to come back to it one day, reclaim my honour. But as it stands, overall I really enjoyed this map, especially the second one. Really, really good. Huge map. A lot of replayability to find all the secrets, and for the most part really fun combat. There's a couple of things I didn't really agree with it. Things like I'm never really fond of spawning in enemies when you find like a power up and a secret. Just feels like it's kind of punishing you for finding it. I'm never really a fan when I see that in maps, and of course in this one it's kind of the epitome of that. You find the quad damage and it spawns in about 500 scrags. Although saying that though, the actual combat there was quite fun, so I guess it's on a case-by-case basis, you can say things like that. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this video guys, and I'll be back hopefully very, very soon with Half-Life 2 video or two, as there's been a fair few releases this week just gone. Again, sorry for the lack of videos these past week or two. I normally do release videos a lot faster than this if you're new to the channel. I realise it's been a bit slow, but hopefully things will pick up now, and I'll see you next time.